God has never called you to correct upward. If you know that you are the kind who must correct everyone, then if you must correct upward, understand the wisdom that is required to correct a greater person than you are. For some of us, we don't even dare. We don't even dare because we know the consequences. Look at the most successful people and study how they deal with their parents. I see these 10-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 25-year-olds becoming disrespectful and out of order. And I'm thinking, it doesn't matter how tough your father is. It doesn't matter how crazy your mother is. She's your mother. He's your father. You didn't choose them. God chose them in your order. And whether you want it or not, you might blame their character and forget that God was trying to deal with something in you also. Are you following what I'm saying? And this also, I lay charge on the parents to learn to do your part. That's why Paul says, fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. Because the biggest mistake I find that parents have as well is some of us don't take the time to raise our children up in the way of the Lord. And I've warned this before, that when you're raising children, especially the first 7 years of their lives, it's important the things you plant in them, the wisdoms, the discipline or character that you put in them while they're forming. Those first 7 years are pivotal because the number 7 means perfection. 1 to 7 is important. First instruction they should learn, obedience. And when I call you, you come. When I tell you to stop, you stop. Whether you use a rod or a slipper or a pinch, it doesn't matter, as long as you don't harm them or do it in the aggression that is not with judgment. It is important at all cost to put your children in subjection in all gravity. That when you tell them no, they know what you mean. It's important to teach them to have a personal relationship with God. All of these are key in the first 7 years. It's important to teach them how to pray. It is important to teach them how to deal with elders. Anybody older than them, they should know. When I had a misunderstanding with my elder brother, I was always the wrong one. Not because necessarily I was wrong, but my father had a problem if I didn't take that to him, because he always raised us to know that if your elder has disobeyed you, or has wronged you, then go to somebody older and report to solve the matter. You have no place trying to correct upward. We grew up knowing that we don't correct upward. And in fact, it has saved me and some of my siblings that much judgment. Anybody that broke that order, they are paying the full price. These laws you cannot take away. I cannot tell you how many young women I can look at, and I can honestly tell you that the way she spoke to her mother, she cannot sustain marriage for 2 weeks or 2 months. The way she talks to her father, I know that if she talks to a man like this, they will have trouble reconciling. I cannot tell you how many young men who are in homes and their wives are struggling. They wish they could check out tomorrow morning, because when she's in this house, she looks at this man he was reared, he wasn't nurtured. There is no principle, there is no purpose, there is nothing in him. He doesn't understand honor. He doesn't understand respect. He doesn't get it at all. There is no respect at all in this man's fiber of being. And the Baganda have a saying, in our Baganda here, we have a saying that if a tree grows bent, if it edges and you try to correct it in position, it will break. So some of you were bent that way since childhood. And we are now trying to, take you back in that position. And that kind of discipline will break you. But some of you even pride in being unbreakable. And the way you stand, you're like this, unbreakable. Can't break me. You won't break me. Let me tell you, the gospel has broken all of us. The gospel has broken all of us. If we are not broken men, we would not listen to anybody. Do you know there are people in this world who cannot listen to anybody? Their mother can't talk to them. Their father cannot talk to them. Their pastor can't talk to them. You have no fear. You only allude to a respect and honor if they are ministering to your convenience. You can only subject or submit yourself to something that agrees with your ideals. But should they try to bend you back into position, that's when your pastor will pay the full wrath of your hard-heartedness. Let me tell you, people who cannot be cancelled usually die early.